Okay, are you ready for the final speaker? Please welcome Jessica Froelich. There you go, rock on.
Wow, I am overwhelmed right now, truly, to be here. My name is Jessica, and a few months ago, I came up with this nickname, and I didn't realize how serious it was going to become a part of my life. I came up with the nickname Just the Love Warrior, and I turned it into my Instagram name because that's very important. And I found out that this was happening. I went to the last talk, and I realized that there was going to be another talk, and it was going to be on compassion. And I thought, wow, how amazing that could be to share my truth about something that I care about so much. Because for as long as I can remember, I just have really loved people. I've just felt so much for people. In fact, when I was in first grade, I remember there was this boy. And his name, I won't tell you his name, but we'll call him Robert. And Robert had some type of disorder that made him look very different than most of the kids. And he also had some type of speech impairment. And I remember being in this classroom, and I can't remember the details of what was going on, but I can remember feeling his pain and his hurt, because every day at recess, Robert would, instead of being asked to play with the other kids or being welcomed to play with the other kids, he would walk along the court by himself. And I remember feeling his pain and his hurt at such a young age. I could feel that. So one day I decided that I was going to take the courage. Not because I pitied him, because I knew that he was deserving of that love. And I went up to him and I asked him if he wanted to be my friend and if he wanted to come play with me. And in that moment, there was no words, but I could feel in my heart that human connection, that bond that we have. I don't know half of you, maybe even 3/4 of you, but when I look at you, this right here, this is what it's all about. This is compassion. Compassion's holding a safe space for someone to just be seen, to honor them as they are, because you know what? I'm not perfect. And I don't think anyone in this room is perfect. But yet, through our imperfections, we are perfect. And I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but it's true. And I'll tell you about a really powerful experience that I had last summer. I had one of those situations where life brought someone into my path. And I didn't know why, but I felt that he was someone that I needed to talk to. And he worked at Whole Foods, and he worked behind the deli. And I ignored this feeling for a while. While I was there, I just ignored it. I thought it was maybe making something up in my mind. And then I happened to run into him by chance a few days later in a different part of town, and I thought, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to say something to him. So I just went up to him and I said, hey, I know this sounds really crazy, but I just feel this really strong connection to you, and I just want to let you know that it's there. And that was it. And I also told him he had really, really nice eyes, because he did. And so he, that was it. I just walked away, and then he later, just a few moments later, came up to me and said, hey, I'd really like to get some coffee with you if you'd enjoy that. And I said, sure, that'd be great. I love meeting people. So yes, let's do it. So we met and we got some coffee the next day. We sat, we did the whole like getting to know each other. And then later we decided to go sit in his car and just, continue to talk. And I can't tell you why I decided to say this to him. But as we were sitting there, I looked at him, really a complete stranger, and I told him, I know this sounds crazy, but I just want to let you know that no matter what you've done or what you could do or anything, I love you. I do. And he sat there, and for a moment, I thought, okay, maybe I just went a little too far here. Maybe things I'm a little crazy, but really, I'm just speaking my truth. And he sat there, and he kind of looked confused for a moment, and then all of a sudden, he looks at me, and he starts opening up about something in his past that he has not really told anyone, especially a stranger, because it was so dark to him, that he was so afraid of it himself, that he was in a depression. When he was a teenager, he wouldn't leave his room because he was so ashamed of this part of himself. And he opened up and he told me about that. And I knew that it was so scary for him because, you know what? It was because he was so afraid that someone would not love him because of that, would not show him compassion. And after he told me this, I looked at him and I said, I love you just the same. I really do. And we cried together, and then we hugged, and it was beautiful. And then the crazy thing that happened was the next day he'd called me, and he said, Jessica, you're never going to believe what happened to me. As I was leaving, and I was driving home that night after we talked, I had felt like this monster was just like wanting to come out of me. And he said, and I screamed so hard and so loud. And then he said, it was because I really felt like no one could show me compassion and love for this thing that I was so afraid I would be judged for. That, to me, is what compassion is, and that has been shown to me many, many times. In fact, there was a moment before I was getting ready to audition, and I did not really write anything because, to be honest, I really felt like it was important to just let love kind of come through. But it's very challenging when you don't have anything planned because you're really afraid that you're not going to do well. So the worry was setting in, and I was really allowing all that fear to build up. And I was walking by Ezra's, and there's a little place called the Playful Soul. And a friend of mine was there, and he saw me, and I didn't even say anything to him. But he said, come here. And I went up to him, and he took me, and he was kind of standing on a step, so I was right behind him here, and he held me, and he put his hand on my head, and he just said, shh, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't even know how he knew this, but somehow that human connection knew that that's exactly what I needed. And I needed it because he ended up taking me into the yoga room, and I cried like a baby. I mean, I was laying down in the fetal position, and he was sitting right behind me, putting his hand on my side and rocking me, saying, it's okay. I mean, how beautiful is that? Now, the one thing I want to say about compassion is that it's a work in progress, right? I mean, we're all trying our best, and we're living these lives, and it's hard because we've got work and all these other stresses, but I really believe that inside of each and every one of us is an innate good nature. And there's this story that I heard a few months ago, and it really resonated with me. And it's about this tribe that's in Africa, and they have a ritual. And in this ritual, what they do is that when someone does something that's harmful to themselves or harmful to others, they take that person and they put him in the center of town in a safe space. And for 2 days, For 2 days, everyone in the tribe goes up to that person and reminds him or her of the goodness that they are, the good deeds that they've done. Now, this was so powerful to me because I think that it's very easy for us when someone makes a mistake or does something harmful, for us to see this thing, this monster, and turn away and shame them and blame them because of their mistake. But the tribe, these people, they too believe that we are all born with that good innate nature. And they believe that sometimes in life we get away from that path for some reason or another. And it's natural. And we need each other to remind ourselves of that innate goodness. And sometimes all that is just holding a safe space and allowing whatever that is, whether it's a monster, a fear, an insecurity, to just exist. Because we're imperfect, and that's okay. And it's, like I said, not always easy. I had a situation, I was working at a restaurant, and this was about a month or two ago, and there is a chef there, and if you know who Gordon Ramsay is, this is probably his identical twin. Like Hell's Kitchen, like he just gets fired up, and you don't want to be in the area because he'll go off. And that's fine. But one night I was, doing my thing, and I love serving because I love people, and I'm like talking to everyone, woo, 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 and I hear my name being called from the kitchen, and it's chef wanting to talk to me. And I thought, okay, well, I wonder what's going on. And I go back there, and his face is as red as could be, and he comes up to me, and he's standing this close to me, and he puts his finger in my face, and he starts screaming at me for something or another. And in that moment, it was amazing, and I'm really grateful because I'm not always this composed. But in this moment, I was able to channel that compassion, and I just saw not a man, but just a child who just needed to release. I didn't take it personally. I just held a safe space. And in that moment, it was a oneness, right? I didn't see somebody who made a mistake and turn away from them or blame them or shame them. I allowed that love to translate energetically, even if I wasn't saying it. It was there. And that's the power that we all have. That is the power that each and every one of us has. Don't ever doubt it. And if you do, it's okay, right? It's okay. But really, and I'm not the only love warrior here tonight. I see many, many love warriors here. So thank you for coming. Thank you so much, and thank you for in any moment that you can to channel that love and that oneness and that compassion. Continue to do it, because every moment of that makes a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. She's an awesome love warrior, right? Awesome. Okay, stay.